LongLegs is a new crime thriller / horror film. It just got released in the cinema last week. It's directed by Osgood Perkins and stars Maika Monroe, real name Dylan Monroe Buckley. I've recently seen her in Greta, where she plays Chloe Grace Moretz's best friend, and I also seen her in Watcher, where she didn't buy blinds for a window until the last 10 minutes of the movie. Nah, too late, love. But she first stood out to me in It Follows, an interesting horror film about an STD chasing after you. STD doing what, you ask? Yeah, sexually transmitted demon. This thing just walks towards you and then turns you into a pretzel. Best to avoid at all costs.
Don't move.
So LongLegs is set in the 90s with some flashbacks in the 70s, and we have Monroe, who is an FBI agent in the 90s and has to uncover a case about a serial killer. Best thing for me to do is, leave spoilers for later. What I will say about this film is that Nic Cage is an absolute legend. He's used less than he was in Renfield, but his presence is felt throughout, thanks to a commanding performance from Monroe, who takes us on a harrowing journey. At the time of recording, the film has already made $30 million over its $10 million budget. This film has already become a success, and it's well deserved, because from the top to the bottom there's a lot of effort put through into this film to make it feel like it had a 90s aesthetic, and also the 70s flashbacks felt genuine as well. For me, there were a few lulls, especially when everything started to click for me, which was fairly early on, and instead of embracing the mystery, I just wanted our main character to pretty much have understood everything that was going on around the same time as me. The reveal became a bit more of a joke rather than it being quite shocking. But I'm not gonna lie, I still enjoyed this movie, and looking at my top 10 of the year, LongLegs has actually made the cut, currently number 8. I don't think it will survive come the end of the year, but it has impressed me. 3.5 stars, well worth a trip to the cinema for some freaky fun.
Do you still say your prayers?
Right, spoilers. So from the off, we're given a flashback of Monroe's character, but I don't think we're supposed to know that until the 3rd act. But I'd say maybe halfway through the movie, there was a flashback sequence that was like, oh, so she almost got killed by Nic Cage when she was a kid. Then when Cage gets detained, he's saying stuff to Monroe about her mum, like she's got something to do with the murders. I mean, I'm paraphrasing, it was less obvious than that. Then another thing kind of clicked, because I was wondering why the mum looked so old, and I swear she was in her 30s and they're trying to make her look 70. Obviously they didn't give Ty West a phone call for prosthetics. But yeah, I just had a look on Wikipedia, my bad, she's almost 50. She looks good for her age. But anyway, the makeup wasn't great when she looked older.
Do you still say your prayers? No, Mom. I never said my prayers, never once.
And I don't know about her acting either. I don't know how committed Alicia Witt was to this role, if I'm being perfectly honest. She had a bit of a supermarket version of Kerry when it came to expressions, especially, being in that murderous state. As a result, I wasn't scared, and I felt like this film was more of a thriller than a horror. But I felt the tension, and I wasn't really put off by the violence. And I think that's I'm getting desensitized thanks to inner violent nature. I mean, some of the murder scenes in that, oi oi oi. One part I absolutely loved though was Nicola Cage caging it up with some outrageous out of the blue singing, which honestly did not fit his creepy character at all, but I embraced it. Then he repeatedly smashes his head in the table. Seriously, this film is outrageous, but it's filled with a good story, solid acting. I felt like this film could have easily come out of real life, considering how outrageous some of the story is.
It's hard to explain, sir. It's like something tapping me on the shoulder, telling me where to look.
I guess this will be out soon on digital, but I really recommend you making the effort to go see this one at the flicks.